Well, hey there, everyone. I hope that you're having a good week so far and you're staying warm and gearing up for the long, extended weekend that we have. So, I just wanted to first say nice job posting your first drafts of your narrative argument yesterday. And then provide just a little bit of tips. Make sure that you um, respond to your group's essays by Friday night. So that's tomorrow at midnight. And I just wanted to really emphasize that the feedback that you give should truly be substantive. It should be thorough and not just like a couple periods or a couple tweaked sentences here and there. Because first of all, giving substantial feedback helps your partner obviously to help them revise in order to submit their next draft. And then secondly, when you carefully review someone else's paper, it actually helps you become a better writer. Okay? I can't even tell you how many times I've reviewed someone's essay, and by forcing myself to think about perhaps alternative ways that they could frame a sentence, or maybe the way that they introduced a quote, it helps me think about my own work and are there different changes that I can make to my own writing. So, really, I will be looking at your feedback that you give. If the feedback that you give isn't substantial enough, I will ask you to please review the essay again and to post more feedback for your partner so that it's fair, so that they have that for their revision, especially. And so, what types of things in the peer review should you be looking at? Well, I have this form, and you don't need to fill it out, but it helps guide your comments and it helps guide any track changes that you use. So, of course, we know, right, that the introduction is that first impression. So, spend some time. Is it compelling or is it kind of watered down, kind of just ho hum, not really a lot going on? Or does it really grab your attention? So, that would be a good place to really hone it. Take a look at their draft. Do they have a thesis statement, or is it unclear to you if they have one at all or where that is? Okay. Maybe you make a suggestion that it needs to be more specific. Maybe you say that they could move it. Okay. So a thesis statement is another thing to look at. And then, so looking at each body paragraph, do they show rather than tell? Okay, do they put you right there in the moment, or are they just describing something in the past, right? We really want, this is your chance to be creative. And so this is your chance to really use a lot of sensory detail. So exploring those senses and putting us right there in the action, or does it feel kind of boring and kind of passive? That's not where we want to be for this narrative. Okay. Um, so yeah, just if it feels like background, tell your partner, right? Tell them this feels like too much background. Take us more into the action. Okay. And then are there enough vivid details? Sometimes dialogue can feel really forced, and that happens with my own writing too. In my writing group, someone told me that a dialogue that I used, an exchange that I used, felt kind of forced. So ask yourself and ask your partner, right? Does that seem forced to you? Is it something like, hey, how's your day going? Or is it actually meaningful dialogue? Does it move the story forward? Okay. And then how is it flowing? So we read a story this week about or that was framed in a way that was non-linear, right? That was recursive and was kind of fragmented, and that's okay. But we talked about in our discussion that one way you can help your reader kind of understand that is by using headings. So if it is sort of fragmented, do they use headings? And if they don't use headings, is there a flow? Is there some kind of discernible organizational structure? Okay. And so, what makes a good paragraph is basically what this one is asking for. And so you always want to vary the feedback you give someone, with both positive and negative comments. And so take a look here, right? Like, why does that paragraph stand out to you? And then on the flip side, is there a paragraph that just feels rushed or feels like it needs more development? And then towards the end, we look at grammar, spelling, and punctuation, right? MLA citation, dropped quotes, making sure that you introduce a quote instead of just dropping it in there. Does the paper use a lot of cliches? And I went over this in class before, but do you use phrases or does your partner use phrases like few and far between, better late than never? You win some, you lose some, right? You really want to not use those cliches in this paper. Conclusions can be difficult to write because we want to be done, right? There's no doubt about it. Sometimes we just feel rushed to finish it, but the conclusion is really the last word of your essay, literally. And so you want to leave a good impression, just like you started with a good impression. Maybe it's a call to action, maybe it's something introspective, but either way, as a peer review partner, you want to offer some suggestions of how your partner could potentially wrap up his or her or their essay. And then a catchy title, right? Help them maybe come up with something that's clever as opposed to just the topic. Lastly, in-text citations and works cited pages. So help each other, and instead of correcting something for them, maybe you point them out to which page in their St. Martin handbook that they should be looking at, or which notes of mine under content could you direct them to. So those are some ways that you can provide more thorough feedback in the narrative peer reviews. And one other like last thing that I wanted to mention. So in all of my classes this semester where I've been doing the coffee with Katie, I've noticed that my attendance has been really poor. And honestly, when I was in college, I probably would not have made time. I worked, I had took 18 credits to attend optional sessions with my instructor. However, I also really enjoyed, because I did take a lot of online classes in college, having that real time interaction with someone and with my peers. But I think what I've found, even though I had really good intentions with these, is that what happens is I'll host this, but then people are hesitant about coming because they don't want to be the only one there and then get recorded and they feel awkward about it. And it's hard for me to encourage people to come when that's kind of what is the, I guess, the vibe of it. So if you could like just email me kind of your honest feedback of what you would like to see. Do you prefer having kind of a live session, or do you, or would you rather prefer just lecture videos on the news feed and then I'll have open office hours? Which do you like better? Just let me know that so that I'm not continuing to do something that no one is really coming to, or really wants to do. So just let me know. Okay. All right. Thanks everyone. Bye.